Say howdy, folks. For some reason, this was uploaded, but nothing got, it didn't look like it got into the public, even though it was listed as a public video. So we're going to try and re-upload this, and I hope to have the next part up in the next day or so. And that will conclude the rules. So hope you have a good time listening to this. Sorry for the technical difficulties with YouTube and the algorithm and or whatever the heck happened. So go ahead, have a good listen. Remember, this is a podcast. You don't have to watch. Thank you. Bye. Well, howdy, everybody. Glad to see you're all back. Just a little update here. We had a really good rollout for the podcast, actually. More thumbs up and thumbs down and interactions and such than I have ever had in my entire life. Woohoo! Yay! See, I didn't bump my head that time. So just as a review, this is the JessTalkin category, which is my podcast version of my channel. We don't necessarily cover just gaming. We cover many other things. And here's the thing. The comments are turned off. Okay. This is the only thing where I have the comments turned off currently. This is just kind of like commentary, my views, things like that. So chances are there are going to be some of you that don't like it. And if you don't like it, you don't got to listen to it. But I don't need to hear that you don't like it. That's about the only rule I got. And if you are a gentleman named Adam, I want to give you a little recognition here amongst everybody else. Thank you for being the very first person to make a Ko-Fi or coffee donation. Very muchly appreciated, and there's a little gift waiting for you. Should be in your messages for Ko-Fi. Everybody else, I like coffee. I want to retire. I am old. Ko-Fi is one of the ways you can support the channel. You don't have to make a monthly. You can just do it a one-time. I'm not going to ask for anything more than a cup of coffee out of you. But if you do want to leave more, hey, I'm not going to argue. And moving on to recap what happened in the last episode. Apparently, the algorithm for YouTube is now requiring an interaction for you to keep your subscription. So please, first off, subscribe and hit the notifications if you want to hear more of these podcasts, especially about what we've been covering and what we're going to cover for a little bit, which is retirement and investment. So if you are interested, like I say, go ahead, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the notifications button. And if you're feeling real generous, I love coffee. And the more coffee I have, the longer I can work on these videos. And the less I have to rely on actually going to work. So I can do something I actually enjoy. Yay. So moving on. Thank you once again, Adam, for being the first Ko-Fi donator. Thanks to everybody else who did the thumbs up. Again, that interacted, so that was greatly appreciated. So here's the thing. We're going to start with the pre-forementioned, is that even a word? Pre-forementioned rules of investing. And we're not going to cover all of them. We're just going to cover the first 5 because they're probably the first. They're the most important. Just so you know, this is not investing advice. These are my rules. They worked for me. Should you decide to adopt them, feel free to do so, but you are responsible for the results. So, we touched on a couple of these. I just spun around. Yeah, you're just supposed to listen. You're not supposed to have to watch. I did touch on a couple of these last episode, so we're going to recover a little bit of ground. Number 1, live within your means. So again, that means don't spend more than what you bring in. You need to take care of your living expenses, which means pay your bills, pay off any debt, put aside some rainy day money. We talked about that last episode. You can go back. I'll try and remember to link down below to the last episode. Rainy day money, 6 to 8 months worth for you to live on if you ever lose your job or something bad happens. Oh yeah, and then set aside extra money for investing so that you have money for retirement, so you don't end up like my generation, which is the tail end of the boomers currently. I give it another couple years and I'll be a Gen Xer. They keep sliding the dates around. So that's a subject for another video. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to throw into a campfire. It is very possible to lose invested funds. So what does this mean? One of the tests to tell if you're ready to start investing, say you have a bunch of money saved up, say you're living within your means, you got your fund for, oops, something went wrong. Now you got this money, you got this little ball of money you keep in a sock in your drawer, or in a bank, or wherever. You need to put it to work for you. Well, here's the thing. I want you to take that money, I want you to build a great big bonfire. I want you to hold it in your hand. And then I want you to throw it in the bonfire. Oh my God, this guy, he's nuts. Why does he want me to burn money? Well, here's the thing. If you can't do that, and I'm not suggesting you actually throw the money in, it's just it's a metaphor, which if you don't understand metaphor, can't help you. But it's a metaphor. If you can't afford to throw that money into a bonfire and burn it up, you are not ready to invest. Because anything you invest, you have to consider burned and gone, because it can all be lost. Not for the faint of heart. So, think on that. If you had money, if you have the money in your savings account, could you throw it away? Could you burn it? Could you give it to somebody else? And would it hurt you to do that? If it would, if you have hesitation, you may not be ready to invest yet. Just kind of a rule of thumb that I've always used. Oh, I got money. Wife needs surgery. That was the last thing to happen to me. Thank God I had that fallback fund. Which is, yeah, I'm rebuilding that. But yeah, things like that happen. And if you can't throw that money away, you really need to consider what you're doing, because you're not going to be pulling your money back out of the market or whatever you invest in. It's got to stay there until you're in your 60s, 50s, something like that. Some of you might get luckier. So yeah, don't do it if you can't afford it. So let's move on to number 3 now that I got you all depressed. And you're going to hear a lot of things you don't want to hear. Number 3, and this is on you. I can't underline this enough. Just like this is not investing advice, if you hear a tip from somebody else, doesn't matter how you hear it, YouTube, over listening in a restaurant, talking to a friend, if you hear a tip about something fantastic or something's going to happen and this is an opportunity and you act on it, that is, you put the money in that and it loses money, that is on you. You cannot blame the other person. You cannot blame the news cycle. You cannot blame, it's all on you. You blame you. Okay? Your choice, your responsibility. You did it. Yeah. Do your own research. If you hear a tip and it sounds good, that's great. It's wonderful to have tips, especially if they wind up being reliable and actually pan out in the long run. However, do some research. Check it out. How are other people doing? How has it done? How is it projected to do in the future? What does your gut say? And I'm going to tell you what, I'm a gut person. My gut is not always right. I have done some major boo-boos, but my gut's not always wrong either. If you don't have a gut that you can trust, you're going to have to just rely on research and education. So, if you hear a tip from someone else and act on it and it loses money, that's on you. If it makes money, that's on you. Don't blame others for your actions you have taken. Do your own research before acting. So, And I'll tell you a little bit about my situation. I am older, as I keep letting you all know. I don't have as much time as probably all you have to make money. So I am doing things that are kind of risky for my situation. But I need the higher risk. Higher risk, greater rewards. Need that in the short term. You all got decades to make mistakes, and you can be cautious and you can go in baby steps, and I cannot stress the importance of baby steps. Me, I'm older, I've done the research, I've done the education, I'm taking risks maybe I shouldn't take. It could wind up biting me in the backside. And again, that would be on me. So far it hasn't. I've actually been pretty good at this. And when we get into talking about crypto, I'll tell you where I had big chunks taken out of my backside. So remember, you can lose everything. Now you've had a preview of what's to come. Number 4, learn to think in terms of value instead of money or dollars. This is one of the points of view we're going to focus on. This can take some doing. If you buy a stock, some currency, or other commodity, or something else, you are locking in a certain amount of value at a given time. That is, your dollar does not stay a dollar all the time. My dollar that I grew up with, probably worth about 15 to 25 of your dollars right now. Okay. That is called inflation. Okay. Inflation on pricing decreases the value of the dollar. So, rarity equals value. Plentiful equals not so much. So, right now, our economy has way more dollars in the system to make us look good on paper than we really need. So if y'all would take $1 out of your wallet and throw it in the fire, that would help everybody. Yeah, I know none of you are going to do it. We went over that. Yeah, I know you're not going to throw it in the fire because I told you not to. But that is the thing. The value of the dollar drops constantly, especially since the 1970s. It's basically been in a free fall ever since Nixon. And again, that's another story. So you want to start equating things in terms of value. By taking your money, putting it into something, you are locking in a certain amount of value at a given time, and the time is important. Your commodity may vary in price relative to another market, but unless it goes completely bust, it will maintain the original value. The original value does not change until you sell. There's the other important part. When you sell, that determines the new value. Okay? Let that sink in for a little bit. If you invest $100 for 10 shares of, let's call it, company called TesterX. There is no such. They ain't no such. This is not a recommendation. This is an example. TesterX, $10. We invest $10, total of $100, and over time, the value of the stock goes down. It goes down to $2 a share. So what's 10 times 2? That's 20. That means if you sell right now, you have lost 80 of your $100 on top of inflation percentage, and we'll get into that later. That's going to come up much later in the videos, how much you need to make to offset inflation. So keep your ears open for that one. Anyhow, you're down $80, If you sell then, that's a loss. Now, there are reasons you might want to sell at a loss. And again, we'll cover that later. But for right now, we want to focus on making money. So what we want to do is put money into a version of Tester X. We're going to call it Tester A for Tester Alternative. Tester A, we buy at $10 a share. We buy 10 shares. That's $100. And after 20 years, Tester A is now worth $25 a share. Okay? So if you sell Tester A, and by the way, the noise you're hearing, that's the kitten. He is just, oh my God, driving me nuts. Tester A, $25 a share, $250. If you sell, you make $150. That's a good thing. We jump for joy because we made money. Okay? That's what you want. Make money over time safely. There is a way you can transfer the value in the market, which I will try and touch on later. I don't want to get you ahead of where you need to be. Right now, you're thinking about, I need to make money over time. That's the very basic principle. That's all the farther we want to go on that. So, did I invest $100 or did I invest $100 worth of value? Okay. So we made 150 in one case, we lost 80 in another. That would come out to a total of, who's good at math here? Anybody? Like $70. We're still up $70. So when you say, yeah, I'm still up, or someone says they're up, that means they're to the positive. Doesn't mean all their investments went up. 2/3 of my investments usually go down, but they don't go down as much as the 1/3 I have that goes up. So that's the break. Well, you're like, well, I don't know how to do all this. We'll get to some of this. We'll get to it. Just be patient. I know you're all chomping at the bit and you don't want to hear this stuff. It sounds like work, and you know what? That's because it is. You don't get nothing for free in general in life. It doesn't happen. You might be lucky. That doesn't necessarily mean it's free. Luck is going to get you somewhere in the end. Now, if you know me, if you've met me at all, you know I have sour luck. Okay? I swear God uses me like a joke. He ain't going to do nothing to kill me, but he ain't going to do nothing to make my life easy either. If something can go wrong, it probably will. Oh, that sounds familiar. What's that called? Murphy's Law. Don't tempt the Murphy. So what have we learned so far? Okay. Live within your means. Take care of your expenses. Put aside a pad. Put aside an investment amount. You are responsible for any actions you take, good or bad. Never invest money you can't throw into a fire, because it's very possible to lose everything. And learn to think in terms of value instead of money or dollars. Value. It's not dollars, it's value. So here we're going to change your perspective. Remember I said that was one perspective? Here's your second one. And this is rule number 5. Learn to think of money in terms of time of your life expended. There's a mouthful. So what does that mean? Okay, so we all only have a certain amount of time on this world. Sorry, but it appears to be true. I haven't been working out how to try to avoid that particular snafu in the contract. Not successful yet. So here's the thing. If you make $7.50 per hour, let's just say that's your rate. I know this is from a couple years ago when I wrote this, but most of you are probably making more than minimum wage, which is like I think still $7.25. Minimum wage is a bad thing, not because it's minimum, just because the whole concept and how it rigs the economy. And again, topic for yet another video. But we're going to do this in this example. Say you make $7.50 per hour, and a gallon of milk costs you $3.25. Okay? That milk cost you 1/2 of 1 hour of your life. Is what you get back from that gallon of milk worth 1/2 of 1 hour of your life? You need to start equating your time against the cost of what you're spending your time on. Because this is your life we're talking about. This ain't money. This ain't value. This is your life, which is another form of value. It's another resource. Say you're a smoker. Now, back in my day, I would have said, hey, if you buy a carton and it costs you $12.50 for a carton of 12 packs, yeah, you're all dropping your jaws. I heard that through the internet. So here's the thing. We're going to do a hypothetical because I don't smoke and I don't know what a pack runs currently. I know it was quite expensive at one point. But say a pack of cigarettes costs you $7.50. You make $7.50 an hour. Is that pack of smokes worth an hour of your life, plus the minutes that each cancer stick takes off your life? If you're addicted, you're probably saying, oh yeah, I need it. I need the caffeine. I need. That's why I stick to caffeine. You don't go stark raving mad like you do if you're on nicotine. And that goes for vaping too. Vaping bad. Vaping's actually worse for you than sucking on an unfiltered cigarette. Bad. Don't do it. So addictions are bad. Don't get addicted to nothing. Except we all get addicted to something. I just chose caffeine. So coffee, yeah. Coffee! Yep, there we go. I like my coffee. I drink a pot every morning when I get up. Yes, I should say a pot. I am limited to a pot per day. I went kind of crazy in college and about put myself in the hospital. It was like 32 mugs per day. Yeah, it was a lot. About giving myself a heart attack with it. In any case, what we were back on. Start looking at things in terms of your life. Is that video game that you bought, that $100 video game, is that worth, I don't even know what that is, 10, 12, 14 hours of your life? Did that one game that you're going to play for 5 hours, is that worth 14 hours of your life? You gotta wonder. So basically this is, you need to start making smarter decisions. So yeah, what you do in your life, is that worth what you pay for in your life? So you got to consider that. And I know I sound like I'm a broken record. Yeah, some of you who are old enough get that. Otherwise, I'm skipping CD. Skip. Yeah, I lived through that too. Y'all are in the download age. I don't think you get problems like that for the most part. I still say physical media rocks. Yay, nothing like a vinyl record. Yay. Except today's vinyl records are all digital. They're not analog. Analog rules. Like me, I'm analog. Boof. So anyhow, there we have it. We have our first five rules. And you know what? I'm going to throw in number 6 as a bonus here. Learn. Yeah, my singing ain't so good on this. It's usually better. Hey, Echo, are you going to destroy something? He's looking like he's going to get in trouble. Anyhow, the more you know about investing, what you are investing in, the better you will be at it. You will lose money. That's all in bold caps. You will lose money. You will lose money, especially in the beginning. Chalk this up to an educational expense, like going to college. You're going to fritter a lot of money away going to college, but it may or it may not repay you down the line. Trade school's a better choice right now. Just saying. Need plumbers, need electricians, need handymen. My God, I'd kill for a good handyman here. I had 2 of them when I lived in Indiana. They were fantastic. Worth their weight in gold. Got beer and pizza bonuses every time. And back then, you know, food was a thing. Of course, now we're heading back into a period where food is a thing again. So, yeah. So learn, learn, learn. The more you learn, the better you'll do for the most part. No guarantees. But if you don't learn, you've already got 1 foot in the lost side. So learn, learn, learn. And listening to this is a place to start. This is not an end by any means. These little podcasts, they are places for you to start to get direction. So now I've given you a bunch of stuff that sounds like hard work, disappointment, despair. Yeah. The next bunch will get into more stuff that you don't want to hear, but maybe a few things that you actually do. So we will hit, let's see what we've got here. Number 7, number 8, 9. Oh, you're going to hate 10. 11 and 12. So that is the 12 rules we will have covered. We covered the first half today. Again, if you can thumb up, thumb down. If you really like it, subscribe, hit that bell. And if you really, really like it, send me a cup of coffee. I need my caffeine. I'm only into 2 cups so far today, in case you hadn't figured it out. Yeah, brain ain't quite turned on. So, catch ya on the flip side. Another record remark. Another record remark. Ah, now I sound like a broken record again. Anyhow, we'll catch you next time. We'll head more into the last set of rules, and then it gets really fun because I'll start giving you some history with what I've been doing. And again, remember, what works for me won't necessarily work for you, but it's a good place to start. So, ta-ta for now.